Hello, I'm Mike Mann. I'm a domain name professional. I operate a company called DomainMarket.com. I used to own a company called BuyDomains.com that many of you may have heard of as well. I also started and operate several other corporations. SEO.com is one. AccurateAppraisals.com is another one where we appraise domain names. And I started a company called Phone.com that I'm still a partner in, which is an awesome cloud corporation offering a variety of voice over IP related products, apps, and all sorts of cool stuff. Certainly you can Google me, check out MikeMann.com, and research a lot of the background. I've done a lot of different things in the domain name space and on the internet, and I'm happy to talk to you today regarding domain names, .com domain names in particular, domain name valuations. I'd like to also thank Deepmar and Tanya for inviting me to speak today. Sorry I'm not there in person, but hopefully next time I'll get to meet you guys in person. So again, I'm going to talk about premium domain name valuations, some of the attributes of those domains and how we generally arrive at their valuations, a little bit about the marketplace and how it operates. And I'd be happy to take any questions from you at the end. So in our minds, super premium.com domain names are the top of the economic food chain. More and more businesses depend on a greater portion of their commerce to be conducted online every day. And getting online requires a URL. And a URL should be an easily memorable expression. If you speak English, it should be an English expression. It should be easy to spell, easy to remember, and preferably it would have a bunch of branding attributes that would make it the perfect domain. And we'll find that the perfect domain offers a lot of economic advantages to a business. So overall, there's no rational reason why a company would not buy a premium.com domain to operate their business operations. If they can't afford a great one, they could still get a very good one for very inexpensively. And again, getting a bad quality domain is certainly economically bad for business, as I believe I can prove through some ideas and case studies that we'll discuss right now. With regard to some case studies, one of my favorite ones is a recent company called Ring.com, which sold to Amazon for $1 billion, I believe. So had they not been called Ring.com, if they were called DoorBuddy or something similar, just a normal sounding name, my theory is that they would not have achieved nearly that valuation. And I can explain a couple reasons why. And in fact, in this case, Ring.com I think was called DoorBuddy before the president, I believe Jamie Simonoff, bought the domain Ring.com. He changed the name for a branding perspective. So he's offering the same product, but it has a new name. And all of a sudden with this new name, you'll find this phenomenon called domain bias in web search. So if anybody's searching for the type of products they offer, home security, home video, these type of things, the consumers are biased to click on and buy from sites that include a super premium.com domain name. Again, this is a scientific study done by Microsoft Research, and their paper was entitled Domain Bias in Web Search. So I'd encourage you to go to Google, type in Domain Bias in Web Search by Microsoft Research, and they have several documents that explain why somebody is more likely to click on and purchase products from a super premium domain name, generally using a search engine, and Google is obviously the most popular search engine. So again, there's scientific proof that an excellent domain is going to bring you in more customers at a higher price relative to the competition. It's also, over time, if marketed properly, will give you a more premium position in Google, which will get again, more eyeballs, more click-throughs, more traffic, and ostensibly more revenues and more profits. So you can find this effect over and over and over. I would also suggest that in the Ring.com case, that Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man, purchased Ring.com. And I'll bet you the world's richest man is A, pretty smart, and B, he would not have bought it if it was called DoorBuddy, because first of all, it wouldn't have been as big and as profitable. It wouldn't have shown up in the news. He would have probably never heard of it. He may have never met the guy, or even if all of the other qualifications were lined up, he would have just said, hey, this isn't that great. It doesn't sound that cool, but conversely, it is called Ring.com, and it probably had a hyperactive growth rate because it's an awesome product and because the name gave it extra leverage. Again, domain bias. They were able to sell more product online due to having an excellent superpremium.com domain name. And again, I don't know how much he paid for it, but regardless of how much he paid for it, I can assure you that it was an awesome investment, considering he's already sold the company for $1 billion. So the domain provided a whole bunch of value to that corporation and to that transaction. And that same phenomenon applies to you and your business and your website on a smaller scale. Another example is advertising.com. That's a good friend of mine, good friends of mine started that company a long time ago. It had a different name. I don't even remember what the name was because it doesn't matter. It's just a random cute business name, and they invested, hopefully it's not confidential, $100,000 way back in the domain advertising.com. Again, you can find the same phenomenon happening as what happened with Ring.com, where it gets better search engine positioning, people memorize it better, the venture capitalists are more concerned about it, the ultimate buyers are more concerned about it, and they sold the company for, hopefully, again, not confidential, something like $450 million, if I'm not mistaken. So again, we have Ring.com, we have advertising.com. My company, one of my companies is called Phone.com, and I can assure you we're leveraging that same phenomenon where we have premium website positioning, which brings us more leads and a higher conversion rate. And particularly in that market, which is extraordinarily competitive, without the domain Phone.com, it would be extremely difficult to compete, most likely. So we get the best of the best technologies and ideas and services, plus the domain on top of it. So I'm suggesting the same for everybody. Follow business best practices, and which includes having the best domain, and all of that compounds together in creating the best corporations. I own another company called SEO.com, Search Engine Optimization. Again, it's a corporation with 40 employees. It's not just the domain name, but the domain name gives us extra leverage. We use that leverage for search positioning, for branding optimization. People memorize our company better, and over 10, 20 years, we're certainly going to realize more profits as a result of having this super premium domain name. So again, I'm suggesting that everybody buy one. Now, these are extreme cases. These are excellent, expensive domain names, but what I'm saying is everybody can get a very good domain name. So you may already have one for your company. You may also be a domain trader and speculator, which I'm going to talk about how to value them and how to trade them. But as far as naming your business, if you don't already have an awesome premium.com domain, you need to get one. And certainly most people can't afford and don't want to afford these mega buck ones, but for a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, you can buy a great .com brand name from My Marketplace, DomainMarket.com, from Sea-Doo.com, from Afternic.com, from GoDaddy.com, and a variety of other sources. So don't shortchange your permanent global brand. It needs to be .com. Another thing that we've proven is that the alternate GTLDs that have been invented, over 1,000 alternatives, .xyz, .ninja, .web is a good one, .app is a good one. and 1,000 crappy ones. Regardless of whether they sound cute at the end or not, they're basically irrelevant. They're bad investments. It's not good trading medium because you're always better off buying a superpremium.com because you know that'll have value, indefinitely rising value, most likely, if you got it at a good price until the end of time, whereas those other extensions, the names have virtually no value. And even if you created a cool site and created value in the name, you'd be creating more value for the matching.com. So like somebody builds a company phone.xyz, it's really not doing them a lot of good because they're making my company phone.com more and more valuable. So they would have been better off starting with a .com in the first place, and trying to explain to somebody your company's name phone XYZ is not going to be a lot of fun because they're not going to know what you're talking about and they're going to type it in wrong. And the idea that Americans were going to change their habits and all of a sudden those extensions were going to have this massive value is always an illusion. Again, I'd suggest you Google me, Mike Mann, GTLDs, and you'll see me prognosticating regarding that subject for years and years. And you'll find that I was right, is that .com is a flight to quality. We see today lots of .com trades on the secondary market at a high price, and you're only finding scattering of those with alternative GTLD extensions. So again, those are not good investments and they're not good brands, and I'd strongly recommend you just don't worry about them and focus on .com. There's enough great .com for everybody for whatever budget you might have. The more you invest, most likely the better investment it is. Buying the very best ones, it has a very thin market. Most people cannot afford the very best .com domain names, which means they're awesome deals and awesome investments because they're on the market but nobody can afford them. So you can make yourself a fabulous investment either for trading purposes or to actually use with your businesses in the current environment. Again, on top of a great domain name, you'll need the rest of digital marketing. You need a great website, great social media, search engine optimization, pay-per-click marketing, conversion optimization, e-commerce, mobile offerings, apps. If you're going to be a modern digital corporation, you're going to need a variety of those services all compatible with one another. And from our perspective, it starts with a great brand domain, and all the rest of the branding value flows down from there. So again, if you get the right domain, let's pretend it's $10,000 and you run a law firm. Most people don't want to spend $10,000 on a domain, but if your law firm improves its domain just a modicum, just a tiny bit, that domain will bring you in one customer. That customer might be a customer for life. That customer might refer another customer. Then one day it'll bring you in another customer. Maybe it'll bring you in 10 customers. Maybe it'll bring you 10 extra customers a year if you buy a $10,000 domain that you didn't want to buy because you were too cheap, if you were a lawyer who wouldn't invest. So conversely, you can spend the $10,000. You could up your domain value, and all of a sudden you would get all those extra clients. And each one of those clients, if you're a lawyer, is most likely worth $10,000 each lifetime profit value. So the point being is, in a whole variety of corporations, just getting one new customer is worth the investment in a better domain. So again, most likely everybody can justify getting a better domain for their business. As far as investing in them for profits, for speculative purposes, one needs to be good at appraising them and understanding how to get the best domains at the lowest prices, and what to do with those names once they find them. So I'm going to look at my notes and talk to you about a couple points here. The other thing that's cool about a great domain, whether it's ring.com, phone.com, advertising.com, they're great investments. So even if I was not going to build a business on top of phone.com or SEO.com, I could have just kept it since the day that I bought it, and they've been going up in value every year ever since. So they're awesome investments. So the point being is that now I'm using them for business purposes, and let's pretend I don't want to use them for those business purposes at some point in the future. The domains are worth more than they were when I purchased them. So that means all that time I was using them to get new customers and to brand and to build, I was using them for free. I had to put the money down, but they went up in value. So it's sort of like the difference between renting and owning a house in some respects. If you're paying rent, you know you're not getting that money back. It's going, going, going. Conversely, if I bought a house at the right price and I lived there for a long time, and then I sell it at a profit, it turns out that I was living in that house for free ultimately. All my living expenses were paid for via the profits in the asset. So again, with your domain name, if you buy a great domain name at a fair price, and the best domains keep going up in value anyway, there aren't very many of them that are the best. Of the hundreds of millions of domains that have been registered, most of them aren't that great. But those that are the best keep going up in value. So again, you can think of it as an asset where you're not losing money, even irrespective of what business and what type of commerce you try to do with it. And you may do none, you may just hold it as an asset in the cloud as an investment. They go up in value if you made a good decision, and ultimately you can run your businesses for free on those assets as long as you can afford the down payment or afford to purchase the domain in advance. Again, everybody has their own what they can afford. So if you can only afford a $1,000 domain, there's nothing wrong with that. Just get the very best $1,000 domain. That'll help you get more traffic, more customers, a better brand if you don't have one that good, and that'll be an absolutely fabulous investment. If you're a bigger, wealthier company, you want to get the very best domain possible. So basically study the domains, get the very best ones at the lowest costs, and if they're .com, I would suggest that those are excellent investments for the long term. For the short term, it's hard to convert domain names, so I'm not suggesting any short-term investing in any respect. Anything I'm talking about is for long term. Some of the reasons one would expect domains to go up in value, and again, just the internet assets to go up in value, is based on just the statistics. As of today, there are 4 billion internet users, which is an unbelievably huge number. So to the extent you can attract a certain portion of those, there's a lot of money at stake. And this is growing at approximately 7% a year. So again, each year an enormous number of new people are coming on the internet who have not previously experienced various brands, various offerings. So they're potentially new sources of business. And even if the rate was to slow, it would still represent an enormous influx of new internet users year after year, indefinitely. There are also 1 billion active websites. So there's 4 billion internet users, and there's 1 billion active websites. So there's essentially equivalent to 1 website for every 4 internet users. So presumably that leaves some space where the other 3 might want their own brands, they might want their own domain names, potentially. So again, half the world's on the internet, it's growing very quickly, there's a huge number of websites, but it's only a minority of the people on the internet have their own website or their own web asset. Of those, most of them are using things like WordPress and Blogger, and they're not using their own domains. Unless they're more established corporations, but the vast majority of companies in the world are small, mom and pop, tiny corporations, and many of those have, they're sole proprietorships. They're not into branding. They barely have real businesses on average. whereas there's still millions of excellent corporations. And again, I'm suggesting that at any echelon, to whatever extent one needs to do marketing online, they still need an excellent domain, and they can go as low as $10 for registration if you are careful and pick the right one. So some of the things that we like to promote regarding premium.com domains, what we tell people as why they're so valuable and how they provide so much leverage to your business. You'll get increased traffic, as we've mentioned. You'll get higher ranking on Google, most likely, if your page is structured properly. Search engine optimization. Again, brand recognition. Your brand will be more memorable. The better the name is, the more memorable it will be. If it's not .com, people are probably not going to remember it. If you speak English but your domain's not clear, simple English, people are less likely to remember it. People like catchy phrases. People like rhyming words, alliterations, popular words in society. Or the best bet is the exact name of your business. So pick a perfect business name and the perfect .com that matches it. If you can't get a perfect match in the domain, you can think of something cute and catchy for your domain, and it doesn't have to be your exact business name. It can actually still go to your business website nonetheless. And keep in mind that a domain name is also an asset in the cloud. So again, if you think about Bitcoin, something in the cloud, it theoretically has value. You can move it around from place to place. You don't have to worry about a physical asset. And again, there's also tax implications to buying and selling domains. So regarding storing your domain in the cloud, regarding the tax implications, you should discuss that with your accountant. But it's possible at the end of the year you might want to buy a great domain to help your tax situation. It's possible you might want to diversify your assets if they're all in one place. So keep that in mind. So if a domain name, the domains you own right now, people always wonder, what are they worth? First, I'd suggest you go to my site, accurateappraisals.com. That can help you out. It has some information, and you can get an appraisal done if you want to. But if you've invented the domain in the recent past, you just came up with something cool and catchy, most likely it doesn't have a lot of value, because domains that did have a lot of value, people like myself and my competitors and software producers and thousands of small domain experts have purchased almost every conceivable aspect, every conceivable word and phrase that might be cool and popular. So it's possible you could pick one up that's cool, but I'd say 99 out of 100 that people are buying recently are not that great from a branding perspective. They might be okay for their existing small business, but they wouldn't have any value on the secondary trading market. They wouldn't be profitable selling them. They might be good using them, but they wouldn't be profitable selling them. Again, just.com, not the other GTLDs, they're too risky. And just keep in mind that you can resell these at any price you want in the future. So you have this opportunity to pick up a word or expression that'll gain in popularity sometime in a few years, however many years. The sky's the limit. You can sell it for any price you want. I frequently sell domains I bought for $100 that I sell them for $50,000 all the time. Now I lose money on a lot more, but sometimes, again, I can convince the buyer that the brand is so awesome it's irrelevant what I paid for it. What's relevant is what it's actually worth and what they're willing to pay for it. So I would suggest there's a lot of room, there's a lot of margin if one is good at carefully filtering through the domains and buying the best ones at the best prices and then negotiating the sales properly. So again, I want to thank you all for inviting me to your conference, and I hope I've shed a tiny bit of light on the .com premium domain marketplace. And please reach me online, social media, email, and ask me some questions. Keep in touch. All the best. Thank you.